music composer. Good morning, Lebo, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And how are you feeling after hearing this news, Lebo?
I'm feeling pretty good, but it'll help to put a bit of perspective.
Yes.
I got the news yesterday from so many people, and I checked with New York what's going on. Disney is the owner and producer of the property The Lion King. They are the investors and the business behind this, obviously, and the producers. So the big news for us as part of I'm one of the 4 principal composers for the movie and the Broadway show, and co-produce most of the stuff, especially the South Africa one. Of course, it's great news to be part of history that in New York history, the $1 billion mark is based on a 1-week calculation, not overall. But in the last year we celebrated 15 years on Broadway, generating a little over $7 billion in gross profit for Disney. So I don't have $1 billion.
Well, it's still a lot of money.
Just about
Still a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great success, and there's a lot of plus for us as South Africans, first of all, and Africans. We've hired in the 15 years more South Africans and spread them across the world in the Lion King property than any production. And as a result, we've contributed substantially to the economy of South Africa. And that's very key to us and very important. And as long as Lion King lives, with about 12 or 13 productions around the world, the London company just did 15 years. New York did 15 years last year, making us the longest running African content-driven product on Broadway's history. And that's important for us as South Africans.
And you still have some currently. I mean, it's live. You said in the various parts.
Yes.
And you still got talent coming through from South Africa.
We run auditions in South Africa at least 3-4 times a year, and so we supply all the productions around the world. We are in Japan, in every major city. There's a Lion King playing, and we are now preparing to launch our new product into the 20th century. That's not Disney related. That is my first joint venture with South Africa with a world tour called Lebo M. KwaZulu-Natal presents Lebo M, the King and Us World Tour, which we hope will now generate that kind of revenue, but most importantly will open even bigger doors for South African talent around the world.
When will that happen?
We launch in KwaZulu-Natal in March of next year.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to pre-production end of January. So to complement the success of the Lion King around the world, which I still work with everywhere, and as a composer and co-producer, we felt in the 20th anniversary of our democracy, which will be the 20th anniversary of the original Lion King movie, we created a property that we feel very strongly about will take our country and our democracy to newer heights as we celebrate around the world the 20th anniversary of South African democracy, with new talent and stunning Broadway meets Las Vegas type of production.
Big year ahead, definitely.
Yeah. How many? We got Lion King 1 and 2 that Disney produced, from what you recall.
The film?
Yeah.
Yeah, the feature film is original animation, and then a series of 1, 1.5, 2, and 3, and a DVD special. I don't count anymore.
Do you think they could do another one next year in terms of this 20th celebration of our freedom, as you just spoke about? What are your plans for that?
I think probably because the Broadway show is doing so well, and probably the Lion King film has been oversaturated in the global market. There's been so many properties that came in and out of that, but like in any business, as long as it generates revenue and there's a possibility that it'll make money, I'm sure there will be something related to the 20th anniversary of the original Broadway show that will be done. But what we want to do as South Africans and Africans is sort of take ownership and take our place in the world stage with African content, with hopefully the same quality. Another thing that we really talk about a lot in talking about the success of the Lion King is that it takes quality money to produce a quality product and produce quality revenue. And that's what I really want to stress behind the success of the Lion King, especially to South African business and South African political powers, that Disney 16 years ago invested $26 million on an African-driven property and content. And 16 years later, they're looking at about $7.4 billion gross.
Wow.
very few businesses generate that kind of return.
I mean, I was just about to ask, I mean, how do you find the support? I mean, are we still not there in South Africa? I mean, you're making a very valid point now. Are you basically appealing to business and the public sector government to say, guys, please make sure you back us up in the world of art?
I'm appealing across the board, especially and particularly to business and political powers that be, but also to artists and producers of content, that we have to get to an era of saying we are global and we have to now learn how to associate ourselves with people that want to produce high quality global product. But business also must understand and appreciate that it takes quality money for us as producers to get to the level of quality that we can compete with Phantom of the Opera, Lion King, and any of those properties, because the examples are there. And funny enough, it is all, most of the South African property that has done well have done well outside South Africa, and they're driven by non-South African investors. You name them, whether it's Ladysmith Black Mambazo, any or Huma Sikela, most of the products that do well outside South Africa actually leave South Africa as a result of support or investors from outside South Africa who see a serious amount of revenue. So a community of business, talent, creators and producers of content, and obviously the politics that control the legislation must really come to 20 years later, must be able to say we've seen success. We now know, if nothing else, Lion King has proven that African content with quality can deliver serious results.
And just a last one for you, Lebo. In terms of the music, and you're involved with the music behind the Lion King, do we see any evolution of the music as we go? Like you say, we're going to be celebrating and it's going to coincide with 20 years. It's been going for over a decade. Do you see, I mean, the songs are popular, but do you see them evolving in any way? Something will change as we go into new eras?
I think there's amazing success with South African music producers that is not even talked about to the level that, excuse me, most of our young producers actually perform and produce to the quality of global standards. But again, the technology and the time spent in the studio and what you end up actually producing in the studio requires quality money. So we do have the talent. I always say I don't want to talk to anybody about talent because the given is South Africans and Africans, we have a talent. We now need to put systems in place that complement that talent and make us globally competitive.
All right, great stuff, and congratulations again. And don't call him for loans; he does not have the $1 billion.
No, I don't.
Well done. Thank you very much, Lebo, for making us proud. That's Lion King music composer Lebo M.
News that moves. eNCA.com.